Welcome back to Rewind Rewatch. I am Andrene.
And I'm Joel.
We are siblings rewatching 90s movies and then discussing how well they have aged over time. We will talk about themes. We will talk about any quotes, any things that we loved or made us cringe. And then at the end, we will give the movie a rewind rating between 1 and 5. Today, we will be talking about Major Payne from 1995. This has a PG-13 rating, and the runtime is 1 hour and 35 minutes. Today, it was requested by these two dummies named Trey and Drew. And the reason why I'm calling them dummies is because these are friends of ours outside of the pod, and they requested this movie. We're covering it today. And I kind of want to start off by saying that this movie is very much so a comedy. So before I get into anything,
that's helpful context.
I want to get into it. Before we get into anything, there's a lot of things in here that do not age well at all, and are really outrageous. But we do understand that it shouldn't be taken too seriously because this is supposed to be a comedy. So let me start there.
Yeah, 100% a comedy. And if it wasn't a comedy, it would be a complete different movie.
Oh my God.
Like,
I don't even know.
Well, actually, this is actually a good place to start. Shout out to Trey and Drew for the recommendations. I forgot to do that part. So, I guess one of the things that I kept coming back to as I'm watching this movie is like, is Major Payne the villain? Like, am I supposed to be rooting for this guy or am I supposed to be rooting for the kids? And I couldn't tell what the movie wanted me to do.
Well, he was supposed to have grown. Like, he did show some growth throughout the film.
Sure.
And so I think it's supposed to show that, yes, he starts off as like this, straight, like hard-nosed, extremely violent
murderer?
Well, yes, he's a murderer. He's a Marine.
Well, he's a soldier, so it's okay.
Well, yes, yeah. Pretty much.
And, legal murder.
And while interacting with these children and with the help of the school counselor, he's able to kind of soften himself and become a better person.
No, yes. I understand the character arc, but like a lot of the movie is him versus the kids, right? It's like he shows up, he's trying to whip them into shape. They're pushing back because he's basically insulting them and calling them names and making them exercise in the rain and burying them in dirt.
Oh, God.
So, like, the whole movie, it has, like, this kind of, like, the students of this private school versus this major who has very different understandings of, like, what's going on. And I feel like with a dynamic like that, as an audience member, it almost forces you to kind of, like, root for one. But I couldn't tell what the movie actually wanted me to do.
I can tell you what I did.
Okay, all right.
I rooted for the children.
You rooted for the children, of course.
Of course.
Because I'm not surprised
he
by
was
that.
not empathetic by any means. Like not by any stretch of the imagination was this man an empathetic character.
So, yeah, I kind of jumped in. I know we usually do like a whole thing with the cast and we talk about the movie a little bit. So this is a 1995 comedy starring Damon Wayans. Mm-hmm. And when you hear Damon Wayans, you think of...
In Living Color. He also was in My Wife and Kids.
My Wife, yeah. So that's kind of what comes to mind for me. Do you feel like you've seen a lot of his movies?
So as far as movies, apparently he was in Beverly Hills Cop in 84. He was in Mo Money in 92. Look Who's Talking To in 1990.
That's the one with the babies who learn how to speak?
Yeah, apparently.
So he was a voice of the baby?
I think so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. So
that's the sequel. Look Who's Talking To.
Yeah. But to answer that question, I've seen none of the movies that I mentioned. So I've only seen him in TV.
I've seen Beverly Hills Cop, but he's not the lead in that. Mo Money I have not seen.
Yeah, he's the lead in that
but
one.
He is the lead.
Yeah.
But I do love My Wife and Kids.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty funny show.
Yeah. Yeah, my partner is not a huge fan.
I mean, I don't like the way he treats his son, Junior. It's very abusive.
It is over the top. Yeah.
It's like a little bit too much.
So look how stupid this boy is.
Yeah, his head's so big.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So, it's not great, but I mean, the show's funny enough.
Ironically, he has a Junior in real life.
Yes.
And they just put out a sitcom together.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, it just came out. I think they have 1 or 2 episodes. I don't even remember what it's called.
Oh.
But him and his son, Damon and Damon Jr., they just put out a sitcom together on network TV. So shout out to them.
Shout out.
And his son, I always think about happy endings first and foremost.
Oh, I love that show.
A beloved,
Oh,
canceled too soon show.
why did they cancel it?
And then I think A New Girl.
Yes. He played Coach in New Girl.
Yeah.
His son's hilarious to me.
Damon Wayans Jr. is mad funny.
I love
and
him.
I low-key want to check it out like almost just as much for his son as for him.
Yeah.
I know they put the whole pilot on YouTube, and I keep seeing it whenever I open my homepage. I just haven't clicked on it yet.
Okay, I gotta check that
But
out.
they're definitely trying to get me to push it because they keep putting it on my homepage.
Well, you're pushing it now, so.
All right. Yeah, I guess I am. I haven't even seen the show, so if it sucks, don't come back and complain to me.
All right, we also have
Karen Parsons.
Karen Parsons, who plays Emily Walburn, who's the school counselor. And of course, we know her as Hillary on The Fresh Prince.
I have discovered a unique method of savings. I never spend my own money. By the way, Daddy, don't use your platinum card this month.
Yes, Trevor.
And we'll get into the relationship between her and Major Payne later, which is ridiculous, to say the least. Next up, we have Cadet Kevin, a.k.a. Tiger, played by Orlando Bloom.
Not Orlando Bloom, Orlando Brown.
Oh! Yo, when I was writing it out, this was funny about this. No, listen.
Those are 2 very different actors. Very different.
As I was writing it out, right, in my head, I was like, Andrene, make sure you put Brown and not Bloom because my instinct is to say Orlando Bloom. And sure enough, I disregarded my own advice and still said Orlando Bloom.
That's mad funny.
Okay, Orlando Brown, my bad. So he's from the Proud Family. He's also was on That's So Raven.
That's where I remember him from. That's So Raven.
He was also on a few episodes of Family Matters between 96 and 98. But
He's on Jamie Foxx show too.
Oh, was he? I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff, like episode here, episode there.
Jamie was his big brother in the Big Brother program.
That's right. But according to IMDb, this is the first thing I saw that was credited to him was this film. He plays a little 6-year-old boy, which his entire character makes no sense to me.
No.
But we'll get into that.
There's no circumstance in which a first grader would be on ROTC.
He's 6 years old.
But he is absolutely adorable in this movie.
Oh,
and
he's so
even
cute.
when you see him on Family Matters or Jamie Foxx show, he was just a very cute, charming kid.
So cute.
And so he does add a little bit of cuteness to a movie where most of the other kids are teenagers. You wouldn't really describe them as cute per se.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of added innocence with that character, even though it doesn't really make any sense.
So, Major Payne, the movie starts off and we see him in South America during some type of drug raid.
Well, before that, the movie starts out with bad.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. That's how it starts.
Bad to the bone.
And I instantly was like, this is going to be a lot. So just for context.
That's one of the most ridiculous songs of all time.
This is my first time watching this movie. So I think it's important to note that. Because
yeah, it is.
I went into this not knowing. Like as a kid, I remember seeing this being advertised and being like, I'm not watching that. Because it just looked so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my child brain, I was like, I don't want to watch this. And as an adult, I'm now watching it, and I'm like, I was right to not watch it.
It's very ridiculous.
Dear God. So, okay, yes, it starts off with that. And he's in South America. It's a drug raid, and this man, the way he's running through the barracks, he punches a soldier in the face and knocks him out. One of his fellow Marines gets shot in the arm, and so he's like, "Please help me! The pain is so much, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I know how to help you get rid of that pain, take your mind off of it." And he's like, "Yes, anything, please." He takes the man's hand and then he breaks his finger. And the guy's like, my finger. And he's like, "You're welcome." Basically, that helps. And it's so. But
he's still going to bleed out?
He's still bleeding out. And now you've also broken his finger. But in his mind, this is how you solve problems.
Well, they're setting up this ridiculous bloodthirsty character, right? God. So the whole idea of this opening is supposed to get us to understand that he's basically a killing machine. he doesn't really have any empathy or sympathy, even for people in his own platoon.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing he really thinks about, the only thing he's good at, and the only thing he cares about is like inflicting pain and, letting that gun off. So they set up this main character, which again, we talk about things aging poorly. Like, this is not something you would ever do now, even in a comedy.
No.
But they set up this main character who's basically just like addicted to killing and like takes joy in the act of murder. And it's almost as if joining the Marine gave him an excuse to be able to do it.
Yes. That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, this is the last person I would want to be doing anything because in
a school.
It's so crazy that so after he gets discharged from the military because apparently he had multiple opportunities to advance and he never did it. And so they were like, yeah, basically like, we're done with you. Like, you're out of here. And so he's like going 2 weeks.
Well, his supervisor says, we're kind of in peacetime. And like you said, he keeps getting passed over for promotions. It's like, yo, we can't keep you here if you're not moving up. He's like, yo, just put me back out in the field. And he's like,
You gotta be somebody needs some killing.
I'm sorry, Major. There's no one left. You've killed them all.
Killed them all. What?
So he has no value to the Army
unless he can kill
unless
people.
He's out in the field killing people.
Yes.
So other than that, they're just like, it's time for you to go.
Yeah, makes sense. So now we see him in like this apartment on a mattress with like no sheets, or maybe there's sheets, I don't remember. But either way, he's miserable, and he's basically talking about how he's like, I've gone 2 weeks without killing a man. And it's like, bro, this is your problem? And then
he's having withdrawal.
He ends up eating a rat. I'm not even quite sure why
That's
that
true.
happened.
It was something to kill.
Oh my God.
It was something to kill. He was hungry to kill, he said, and he was also hungry. So he sees a rat in his apartment. He murders it.
It was really big too.
And then he fries it.
It was like over like a fire.
Yeah,
He built a fire in his apartment.
he did. He did. He was living in the same.
He was camping.
He was living in the same apartment building as the Boondock Saints.
or as your man,
that flop house apartment.
Your man from The Fifth Element. His apartment. He lived in the slums.
Oh God.
Yeah. So now he ends up saying, I'm going to try to become a cop because in his mind, cops kill people.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh, I'm going to go to police academy. And then he tried to do this training where it's like, okay, you're an officer and you're answering a call for a domestic violence dispute. Here's the wife, here's the husband. Like, how do you handle it? So they're like, action. It's like, it's almost like they're doing like improv.
Cop improv class.
I'm like, okay. So he goes up there and, the woman starts crying like, oh, he beat me. And then he just starts like bitch slapping this man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, we can't use him.
Yeah, it just assaults the
like,
guy
what?
in what's very clearly a training activity.
I was like, okay. So that was supposed to be funny, I take it. I didn't laugh. Did you?
There's going to be a lot of this. I mean, no, it's not funny, but I guess, so there's two things, right? Part of it is this character, like, yes, he's addicted to killing, but he also comes off as if he like, I don't know if they would have used the phrase on the spectrum, but like he's very unaware of like social situations. He doesn't pick up on social cues. He's like living in his own world. He doesn't have any relationships. He has no friendships. So he's like, he lives in his own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
He comes outside of that bubble when it's time to go to war. He goes back into the bubble. He doesn't have relationships at work either. So nobody vouches for him when it's time for a promotion.
That's true.
And he doesn't really have any rapport or like it doesn't seem like he has any social skills.
Well, I feel like it'd be very hard for someone to vouch for him when he's breaking all of their fingers.
Right,
so,
exactly. But it's like, is he supposed to be like off?
I mean, the way he was talking sounded like he was off.
Right.
Like,
The
way he was like kind of like, bro, like is something not all there?
And then I think that's the other part that maybe makes you like, when you're watching it in 2024, it makes you almost feel a little guilty for laughing because it's like,
yeah,
this guy's not all there.
Right. That exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of this was cringe with a capital C, bold and underlined. So he ends up not getting the cop job, obviously. And then he finds out from, I don't know, it's one of the generals or the higher ups. I don't want to say general because I don't know the proper military term. I think it was General Decker, calls him up and says like, oh yeah, we're able to actually get you back into the military to work through this ROT program at this boarding school. And this school, I mean, their ROTC program is in shambles.
Would you even call it a ROTC program?
Well, according to, I guess, the president of the school, he doesn't even know they even exist. He calls them the Green Boys.
Yeah.
Because they wear, like,
fatigues.
And he's like, they wear this green and sometimes they stay in their bushes. I can't really see them. And this man looks like the Crypt Keeper. And I'm like, how is he running this school?
Poorly. It's very evident because we only see him in this one scene, right?
Maybe we see him one more time, like at the end of the film, he's like catching butterflies with a net.
Right. So when Major Payne goes to his office the first day to report to work, his office is like surrounded by insects.
Yeah, it was.
So it seems like, I don't know, what's that called? Ornithology, I think it's called.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
You may be right. But yeah, he's definitely into
like,
that.
he's one of the guys from Silence of the Lambs who she goes and visits, and he has all the moths and bugs in his place, right? So it's like it's probably not that. I do want you to kind of look that up to tell me what that actually is.
Okay, so ornithology is actually the branch of zoology that concerns the study of birds. So you were close.
All right,
you were close.
Yeah. Anyway,
entomologist. Study that's insects in the field or in labs.
Okay.
Entomologist.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem to really be all that concerned with running the school. It's like he has like his own thing going on, and he's just like, you work here now? All right, that's cool. Like, you want to deal with these kids? Fine. But like, he doesn't care. So this is also setting us up for, we have a man who's addicted to murder, who's now working at a school with children in a program where there's no oversight.
Exactly. So he can do whatever he wants.
And
no one's ever going to know.
The school president's not going to even care because he doesn't even know. He doesn't care.
So when we talk about doing whatever he wants,
he does whatever he wants.
The first time he meets these kids, and again, I'm watching it, and so as I'm watching this film, I'm already like, okay, a lot of this I know is not going to age, but like, let me put on those like rose-colored glasses and pretend I'm back in 1995.
You have to. You're not even going to make it to the end of this movie if you don't do that.
And like, let's pretend I'm watching it back then, like, and try to make it through and see if this is funny. So he meets these kids, and the very first time they line up, and he's basically trying to show, I'm a no-nonsense, type of major.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to whip these boys into shape.
Yeah. Turn y'all into men. Because right now they're ladies. Let's just say that. So like, he calls them ladies, and what's the other one? There's another term. Turd and ladies are the two he calls them the most throughout the movie, because I kept hearing it over and over and over again. And they have to like earn their right to be called a man, which, okay. So there's already problems there. And as he meets the individual children, he basically like verbally abuses each and every one of them. So he meets the kid who's kind of like a little overweight, and he calls him Doughboy and
Bacon Boy,
and also Pig Boy.
Yes,
because that's funny.
In rapid succession.
Yeah, that's funny. He's chubby,
and then starts calling him Tubby.
Yes. Then you have poor little Tiger who's there, and he like has to pee because he's 6 and can't hold it, and he threatens to take off his penis and kick it around on the ground. Yep. Okay.
That's right.
Then we have one of the kids who is deaf. And so when Major Payne is giving these instructions out, the boy doesn't respond. And he goes up to him and he's like, are you stupid, ignorant, or plain old deaf? Then he calls him handicapped man and dummy, and threatens to put his foot in his butt if he doesn't answer him.
So here's the thing. All these things, not great.
What?
Is this
funny?
That's not what I was going to ask you, because I know the answer to that. I guess my thing is like, did you feel like the movie was like making light of verbal abuse, or did you feel like it was painting him as the bad guy? Because he's not really supposed to be like they're creating this character that's supposed to lack empathy and sympathy and not know how to like interact with humans, right?
Correct.
He couldn't even do police camp, which are like the least
police school,
the least empathetic people in America are cops, and he couldn't even cut it with them.
right?
So they've already painted this over the top character, and I feel like now he's meeting these boys. You already know they're setting it up for it to not go well.
Correct.
Like, does that change anything for you as a viewer in terms of like the fact that he's verbally abusing a bunch of children?
Not really.
Not really.
I just feel like I just kept being like, this is not really like, I'll say like what was funnier to me was probably when he first like comes in and he tells him to fall in line and he starts like shooting his gun in the air, because it reminded me of Boondock Saints.
Mm-hmm.
There was a firefight!
So like it was like, again, like when you're shooting up in the air, the bullet has to come back down. And I hate in movies they always do that, because it's like, all right, guys, be quiet, bang, bang, bang. And it's like, the bullet's gonna come back down. Like, does no one ever realize that? And so that was a little bit like
firefight.
Yeah. So like there's that. There's also a scene where like he has an actual live grenade where he threatens them to finish. And like that was a little like, again, like that was a little bit funnier to me than like calling someone who's deaf a dummy. Like that's not funny at all.
Yeah.
But like, oh, this is like, you know, kind of like cartoonish violence, because he did. I mean, the kids weren't actually harmed. There was no. I almost thought he was gonna like hold the bomb. It was gonna like explode and like have like the, you know, the gray ash on the face. I almost thought it was gonna go that far. So I'm like,
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, it was that ridiculous where I thought it might go that far, and it didn't.
That would have been Home Alone.
But it was kind of like, okay, I'll give them a little bit of grace there, because, and then also like when the kids first come in, the oldest boy comes in late, and Alex Stone, Cadet Stone, comes in late, and he's just kind of like, you know,
too cool for
being
school.
a jerk. Like, yeah, I don't care, ha ha ha. And so he brings out his field knife and shaves all of their heads. That didn't bother me. It's kind of like, oh, that's so that to me is like showing like we don't really like this guy. He's kind of mean, but also like it wasn't abusive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was all right, cool.
So Alex Stone shows up for, I don't even know what it's called, but they're having their, you know, whatever, their meeting of all the cadets. This man shows up in a leather jacket. So already, you see a guy in a leather jacket in a 90s movie, and you can already draw conclusions. He doesn't even have to open his mouth. You're like, oh, leather jacket guy?
Yeah,
all right, I know who you
he's
are.
bad news.
I know who you are, buddy. I watched 6 seasons of Boy Meets World. I know what the leather jacket's supposed to represent. And also, Alex is like very clearly old as hell. Like,
yeah.
How did they cast this guy in this movie?
The actor was like 20 or 21 from what I've read when they cast him.
He was 21. I thought he was like 27.
No, he's like 20 or 21.
He looked mad old. I was like, why is this guy here? It looked like an adult with a bunch of teenagers.
He's 20 something. But I think he was supposed to be playing like a 16-year-old or 17.
I was not buying that.
Because he comes back the next year at the end of the movie. So he's not even a senior.
No, yeah. I mean, by the end, I was like, okay, whatever. I was bought into the character enough, but it's like, this dude still looks old as hell.
Yes.
Like, old as hell. And I also, like, Alex was kind of like the goof off, like, he was the guy, I guess he's the main opposition for Major Payne, because not only is he a grown man, he also is like very clearly like the ringleader of the nonsense.
Yeah.
So
because he's the oldest.
Right. Yeah. And it felt like a big part of the reason why the troop was so out of sorts was because like there was one overeager cadet.
Oh, that was Cadet Dotson.
And that's the one who ends up transferring after he loses his position.
He was ODing.
He was crazy.
He loved his position.
But you could tell that he was the one that was like actually into it.
Yeah.
And
he wants to be in the military when he gets out.
Everybody else like didn't really care. And I'm sure that like you almost get the sense that if Alex isn't there, maybe they would have been in better shape.
Yeah.
But maybe Alex
fair.
is the one holding everybody back because he's a goof off and he's one of the loudest voices in the room.
Well, but so was that other guy who ends up like, he's always dancing around. One of the black guys.
Yeah.
He's not really taking it seriously.
No, he wasn't
Like,
taking it seriously.
Matter of fact, there's a scene. So as Major Payne is like walking up and down the aisle, he's making all the other boys do sit-ups and push-ups and crunches and everything else. And this other kid is a black guy. And so Major Payne approaches him and he's like, "You like how I'm making all these white boys, work out?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And he's like,
It make you feel good to see a black man run back, huh? Malcolm X.
Yeah, he did say that. Malcolm X.
it's like, what?
That was amazing.
That made me laugh so much.
Because it was like, why did he say that? It was also mad funny though.
So anyway, just to point out, so
Malcolm X.
so that kid apparently is Damon Wayans' nephew. His name is Damon Dante Wayans.
Oh wow.
So he's related to him. But yeah, that scene made me laugh.
They have
That
to
scene made me
have
laugh.
very ridiculous family get-togethers because
I can't imagine.
number one, there's like 1,000 of them, and number two, they're all comics. Like, yeah, straight joke time.
So going back to your point about Alex Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like, yo, like this guy's trash. We need to get him out of here. So one of the cadets is basically like really into like, was it chemistry? And so they're in this lab. And so of course they're in this lab with like all these different like vials and tubes and all that. And he's like, I got this great like super laxative. We're gonna like put it in his cupcake and basically we're gonna take him out. So their plan is just to give
why
him...
is this 14-year-old kid creating laxative? It's interesting.
He's gonna be Zeke when he grows up.
He's 100% gonna be Zeke selling scat.
Beat bop bop bop.
Skibidi bop bop.
All right. So they put this laxative in this cupcake for Major Payne to eat in the hopes that he will get explosive diarrhea, be out sick for a while, and then
they'll
leave
get
the program.
They'll get the day off at least. They just wanted a break.
Okay.
They wanted to not have to work out that day, so they're like, "Yo, if he's in the toilet, then we get the day off."
Well, there's a couple things,
and it's also like payback for he's been torturing us.
Yeah, I get it. But this scene, there were so many things that I was like, "What? This doesn't make any sense." So the first thing that doesn't make sense is why is Major Payne the only adult eating in this child cafeteria? There's no other adult around.
He's completely devoid of all like social awareness. Like he probably doesn't even notice he's the only adult there.
You're probably right.
He's
with his 2 juice boxes.
Yeah, like he doesn't know what's going on. So even when Hillary Banks is trying to flirt with him, like he doesn't even realize she's flirting. Like he doesn't understand what's going on.
We'll get back to her.
We will definitely get back to her.
So that's my first point. I'm like, okay, why is he there? The second point is one of the kids says, "Oh, there's a phone call for you. Like step away." And as he steps away, the kids come with his cupcake. But like, why does it take 8 of them to place the cupcake on his plate?
This was the biggest flaw of this whole scene to me. Because they're like, "Yo, he's gone. Let's switch it." But then they all get up. It's like, but only one of you is going to be holding the cupcake. And you're also like
drawing mad attention to yourself.
Making it look mad suspicious. Even when he comes back and he sits down, like they're all like just staring at him openly. And I'm like, if he didn't know that you guys did something, which clearly he didn't because he does eat the cupcake. But like at some point he would look at you and be like, "Yo, why are they all staring at me while I'm eating my lunch?"
Yes.
Like they were bringing mad attention to it. Like y'all could have just switched the cupcake, but it was just like
so
staring. And then he's so in his own world that he doesn't even notice.
At all.
The other part that you didn't bring up is they made up the phone call.
Yeah, you're right. So it's like, so what
where
happened?
did he go?
I have no idea.
Hello?
I guess they hung up.
Yeah, I guess they hung up.
That's exactly what happened.
Who the hell do you think was calling for you?
The general?
Yeah, the general. I guess that's the only person that reaches out to him throughout this entire film.
And then he just came back and sat down. He didn't, like, that was it.
Yeah.
So then he eats the cupcake and they're all like, yeah. So first he's fine. And then like his stomach kind of rumbles and they're like, yeah, we got him. But then he just like, it kind of passes. And so the one kid who was sitting behind him who warned him about the phone call. And at this point he realizes it didn't work. So he's like, I'll go back and sit with my friends. So as he's walking past him to go back to his friends, Major Payne like lets out this like completely loud fart, and the kid passes out from how bad it smells apparently.
Yeah.
And like, bro, like that scene was so gross to me. I was just like,
made your stomach turn.
It did.
Worse than Major Payne's.
I was like, and again, like at my age, I'm not demographic for fart jokes. But
You're not?
maybe if I was an 11-year-old boy, I would have found that hilarious.
Well, actually, that brings me to another question that I wanted to raise. Like, who is the demo for this movie?
Boys, little boys.
Is it though?
It has to be.
Because there's like a lot of like son of a bitch in this movie. There's a lot of like
It's PG-13.
You'll find sympathy in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that was rough. I was like, whoa.
Like that's not like an 11-year-old boy humor. I mean, it is 11-year-old boy humor.
It is.
But that's not typically what a movie company is putting on for a kid's film. But all the humor is like super juvenile. So then it's like, is this movie for kids or not? It's like, it can't even decide what
like
it is.
Stoners? I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
I'm not asking you to like answer the call for the people who made this film. I'm more so just asking the question generally because these are the things that I'm thinking about as I'm watching this movie. I'm like, yo, like, who is this movie for? It's not like, all right, we watch Parent Trap on this podcast. Very clearly a kid's movie, but it plays like a kid's movie. Like there's not like,
and it's fun.
They're not calling each other son of a bitch every 5 minutes.
Right.
So that's why I was like, wait, like what is this movie?
True.
Like, is this supposed to be a kid's movie? Is this supposed to be PG-13? Is this supposed to be
maybe it's for immature college
teenagers?
bros?
I could see that actually.
Like,
I could see it being like maybe like a movie for like high schoolers.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm saying boys here because I feel like a lot of females, generally speaking, I'm not going to put everybody in a box, but generally speaking, I don't see a lot of females thinking this is wildly
This is
hilarious.
definitely male humor.
It's male.
100% male humor. I mean, a fart that knocks a kid unconscious is like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't really doing anything for me.
Now, the next part, I mean...
Oh, God.
When we're talking about things that did not age well...
Oh, God.
This is probably the worst of it. Of the entire film.
Yeah.
So Alex is like, yo, all right, that didn't work. I got a plan that is definitely going to get him fired.
I mean, it would. This is very much, again, I'm bringing up Jawbreakers again, but it's very much akin to that type of...
Yeah. So he's like, yo, like, this is what we're going to do. And it has to be something so... twisted and vile that there's no way that he'll be able to keep his job. So their plan is to have one of the kids dress up like a girl and sneak into Payne's bedroom, get in bed with him so that they can take a picture of him with one of his kids in bed. So they're trying to basically frame him for pedophilia. Which is like incredibly dark.
Incredibly.
Again, is this a kid's movie?
Incredibly.
Is this a kid's movie? Because I'm like, this is not like a ha-ha joke for like an 11-year-old.
No. Like, it's like, mommy, what's happening?
And you're using the kid to do exactly.
Yeah.
Like I might not even understand what they were doing if I were watching
like, why
this
is he
as
wearing a dress and why is he in the bed with
I don't understand what this is supposed to be just like, oh, the kid looks funny.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're trying to make a joke about him like sleeping with little boys and dressing them up as girls.
Yeah, it's all bad. But again, going back to my earlier point, all of the boys are in the room. Like, we don't need all of you to take a photo. Why are they all there?
No.
But Major Payne, of course, because he's a Marine, he sleeps with his eyes open. And so they're not even really sure if he's asleep, but they realize, like, oh, he's actually sleeping. His eyes are open the entire time. And they have this poor boy in a dress, and he gets in the bed, and it's like, all right, wrap your arm around him. And he's like, come on, guys, like, just take the picture. And, of course, Major Payne wakes up, sees what's happening, and he decides to punish them. And the punishment is?
Making them run around campus wearing dresses.
So here was where my brain immediately went. So this man went to like Ross for Less and like figured out their sizes and bought 8 dresses, including one for 6-year-old Tiger. who wasn't even in the room for the picture. Like, the whole thing was so bizarre. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, this is the worst of it for sure. This is where you really start to cringe, where you're like, this ages worse than any other part of the movie, which generally is just aging poorly. Like from the time it starts, from the time Bad to the Bone drops, you're like, oh, this movie is not going to age well.
So this is where, all right, so let's go back to Karen Parsons, who plays
The counselor.
Miss Walburn. So Miss Walburn is basically like, you're doing the most. You're making the kids shave their head. You're making them wear dresses. Like, this is not the way you need to deal with children. And so she gives him this book, and it's talking about
the
like
ABCs of a loving male role model.
Right. So this way, it's like you can still be, the male role model, but you have to figure out how to talk to kids, because what you're doing is incredibly insensitive, and it's just not going to work. And throughout the film, excuse me, he tries to change the way he interacts with the children, particularly with how he interacts with Tiger. And so there's a scene where Tiger is complaining that there is a monster in his closet and he can't go to sleep because the monster's out to get him. And at first he like dismisses him, like, go to bed. And then Miss Parsons is there and looks at him.
Come on, you need to be more nurturing.
Sorry, Miss Walburn.
Be sensitive.
Yeah, God.
Sensitive.
So he's like, all right. So he's like, where's the monster at? He goes in the room, the little boy points. He's like, he's in my closet. He pulls out his gun and fires like 3 shots into the closet door. And he's like, well, if he's in there, like, he's hurt really bad. And it's like, that's how he solves the problem.
And then he's like, thanks so much. I love you.
Yes. And then he goes to hug him. And then Major Payne thinks it's a trap and puts him in a headlock.
Yeah. He threatens to break the kid's neck after he hugs him.
And it's like, he's 6. You think he's going to kill you?
So at the beginning, like, I also haven't never seen this movie before because, like you, I remember seeing trailers for it and I was like, this movie looks absolutely ridiculous. But once the movie starts and we see that he's like in combat and there's grenades going off and guns firing, and the first thing that comes to my head is like, okay, so this movie is gonna have some sort of like PTSD undertone.
Yes.
This is before we even meet him. I'm just like, this is just knowing what I know about this movie. Like, this is obviously gonna be like PTSD. And sure enough, it comes back time and time again. Because there's even the time when, number one, he doesn't realize that a 6-year-old hugging him is like a sign of affection. But then later on in the film, when the kid asks for a bedtime story, he's telling him about the little engine that could. And somehow the story gets derailed and he starts...
Derailed, the little engine.
Yeah.
And boom, boom, ching.
Thank you. He starts talking about like having some war flashback.
Yeah.
About one of his troop members who lost his legs in battle.
And Bubba come crawling out the back door. Both legs missing. Lula made baby boy. He looked up at me, he said, "Hey, I can't feel my legs."
And I was like, wait, what? Like, why are you telling this story to a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
And even later on in the movie, he's having... This is like later when he's thinking about leaving and he's at the train station and he has this fantasy about like maybe me and the counselor could settle down at the white picket fence. And then he like all of a sudden gets attacked by an enemy in the middle of his front lawn. So it's like even in his fantasy, he's being attacked by the ops. Yeah. So he like very clearly has PTSD, but it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
I don't think those jokes, I mean, none of this movie really could be made today, but I feel like a lot of the way that they excuse his behavior is like, oh, well, he's still screwed up from the war.
Exactly.
He's quote unquote shell shocked. And so like, that's why he acts so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, me and my partner were having this conversation the other day about how like, we were talking about this whole phenomenon with like, you know, millennials who are now parents are like basically just doing too much. And there's
like helicopters?
kind of like helicopter parenting, but also feeling like the pressure, like that you need to do so much for your kids. So you have to put them in the programs, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And she was making the point that like a lot of us are us being like our generation, right? Like we actually end up babying our kids because the generation of our parents probably weren't caring enough.
They were bootstrappers.
Yeah. Screwed us up. We all have therapists. And now that we're the parents, we're trying so hard not to make sure that we're repeating the same mistakes for our kids. We're overcorrecting.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of like what we're seeing in this film is like, this is kind of indicative of that whole phenomenon. Like a big part of the reason why this movie would never exist now is because the people writing movies now are basically millennials. And like, we're so overcorrective to the point where like you really can't make jokes about like PTSD or pedophilia or
I mean, that's probably a good thing.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that like we're too aware to be able to even laugh at this stuff anymore. Cause now it's like we know how that plays out.
This is problematic, yeah.
Like we know too much about mental health. And like this movie is basically just like making fun of it. So I feel like that's a big part of the reason where it's like, yeah, like this can't be funny now because we know too much about why this is actually not funny.
Agreed with that. I mean, like, as I'm watching this movie, there's so many times when he said things where I just kept being like, I would note it because I was like, another one. Like at one point he's like, sorry, my Agent Orange is acting up. And I was like, cringe. You know what that is? Yeah. Like, it's like, basically, for those who don't know, like, it was a tactical, like, herbicide that was sprayed during the Vietnam War, and a number of our soldiers were impacted by it and have, like, long-term health problems because of it. So it's like, it's not really funny because a lot of people were screwed up and are now on disability because of that. He also talks about snapping the necks of POW. At one point, he threatens the boy who's a little bit overweight that if he doesn't get over over that little... not a barrier, like the wall.
Yeah, it was like an obstacle course.
Yeah, he like threatened to like kill him, to hang him. It's like, bro, like you can't talk to not even adults like that. Like it just seems like so. And I get the point was supposed to be like, oh, like, this is the military, and like you have to have like strong mental fortitude and be able to deal with all this stuff and become a man. But it's like they are still children. And they're in the like developmental stage. Their brains aren't even fully developed yet. And again, millennial talk. But it's like, I know all this. So it's like, this is very damaging.
The body keeps the score, man.
I wrote that. So y'all, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score.
God. Yeah. They probably know about the book. They're millennials who are listening to this.
The Body Keeps the Score. And like the PTSD, I wrote it down because I was like, bruh, read this. This is all from the book. Because even so at some point, he ends up dating Miss Walburn, which I have no idea on
that whole romance subplot doesn't really make any sense.
No,
because there's nothing about this man. Like at one point, they go out on a date. He spends like the entire time basically telling war stories.
Yeah, how he killed
unprompted.
people.
Like she hasn't asked him any of this. So, and then they end up like making out towards the end, and I'm just like, what was it that she saw? And I think this is also a big flaw in 90s movies is like you have a main character and then you have like an object of affection or you have like this hot person that they are attracted to.
Yeah.
And the movie is told through the lens of like them falling for the person. But they never really explain why that person fell for them. Because this is not the first time we've had this conversation.
We've been this before. Fifth Element was a big one.
Yeah, Fifth Element, exactly. So it's like, if you're the counselor, the only thing that even could have remotely turned her onto him is A, when he tries to tell a bedtime story to the kid, right? Nice gesture.
It almost traumatizes
but
him.
It turns into him talking about some guy's legs getting blown off. So doesn't really pull that off. Then they go out. He basically like wolfs down his food in front of her.
Oh, so gross.
She asks him about if he has any hobbies. He has none, but he's willing to dance. So they go dancing. Okay, so that's the second nice thing he did.
I guess.
And then the third thing is he has a bullet that he said he plucked out of his own heart with a knife, and he gives it to her as a memento.
Yeah.
So now I'm led to believe that she's falling for this man because he gave her his heart bullet and because they danced a little bit.
Don't forget, he let her blow his whistle that one time. I mean, it made no sense. I was just like, again, why is she falling for this man? Why?
There would be she wouldn't even be remotely interested.
No.
Not even fall
She would be
for it.
disgusted.
Like there's no way that they would hang out outside of work.
Matter of fact, when they went on that one date and he scarfed down his food, he said, "Aren't you going to eat yours?" And she said, "My stomach's a little bit upset." Like, he literally made her stomach sick. So at that point, how does the date even move forward? I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
Give me my doggy bag.
And he didn't even say salmon.
And I'm going.
Can you imagine? It could have been so much worse.
Give me my doggy bag and I'm going home. That's crazy. Yeah, that whole thing just made absolutely no sense to me. So at this point, he ends up, he tells the boys, this is what it was. They want to get rid of him. And they hire this wrestler dude who's actually a wrestler in real life. His name is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow. I knew he looked familiar. I couldn't name it, but he was an early '90s WWF guy.
Yeah, R.I.P. He passed away in 2007. But he plays this guy that the kids hire to...
They pool their money.
Yeah, to rough up Major Payne to get him to leave. They're like, get this guy up out of here. And of course, it goes completely wrong. He gets a couple of hits in, but then Major Payne outwits him somehow.
Yeah.
And ends up beating him up. And so Major Payne goes and talks to Cadet Stone, and it's like, "You really want me gone?" And he's like, "Yes, sir. Like, I want you up out of here." So, he finds out that Cadet Stone was the one who was in charge of getting this wrestler to come beat him up. And so as a punishment, he takes away the privileges from Cadet Dotson to be like ahead of the team. And he gives these privileges to Cadet Stone, who doesn't want it because Cadet Stone's, of course, the one that's always, joking around and not taking it seriously. Now he has to lead this entire troop.
I thought that was actually kind of decent leadership, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that part.
It was this whole concept of you want me to kick you out of ROTC, but you're not really going to learn from that. So instead of me just leaving or instead of you getting kicked out, I'm actually going to make you a leader, which is going to allow... You're going to feel guilty about being so selfish. And now you're going to have to kind of get it together for the greater purpose.
Yeah.
And even there was a point in the film where she asks him why he's so mean to the boys. And he's like, if they think that I'm their common enemy, that will help them to work together.
Exactly.
Now, that's probably a little bit of toxic leadership, but it did work.
It works.
It did work in the sense that, they were more united fighting against him than they were at any point before he showed up. At the beginning of the film, when we meet these cadets, they're all just kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So there didn't seem to be any sort of unity. And, that's the one thing I can say. He did help them to kind of work under a united front, even if it was to give him a laxative cupcake.
Well, not only that, he basically leads them into an ambush. Because after Cadet Stone says...
this part, I completely misunderstood. Can I tell you, I completely misunderstood.
Okay, what did you think was happening?
Because he's like, all right, y'all want me to leave so bad? All right, fine, I'll leave. But you got to get the trophy. And if you guys get the trophy, then I'll leave.
Right.
So I'm thinking he meant win the trophy.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, they basically have to put in work to go to the games, the military games, win the trophy, and then he'll resign. But no, he was trying to convince them to steal the trophy from another school.
Yes.
So then they try to go, they get ambushed, they get beat up by the other kids.
Bad.
Stone comes back, he's pissed. Yo, you set us up. He's like, yeah, I might have put in a phone call or two. So you set up your own troop to go get beat up by the ops. And then he's like, but now that you went on that mission and you didn't get the trophy, you want it real bad, don't you?
He's like, real bad.
I do want it real bad. He's like, all right, we'll go win it. And I'm like, well, why wasn't that just the original plan?
I guess they had to see it first.
But
it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Like I literally thought that was the original plan, and then it wasn't.
No.
But then it was anyway.
He wanted them to lay eyes on it and like see how close it was, and then be like, "You want that? Well, you have to earn it."
But they already wanted him to resign, so they didn't really need that extra motivation.
Bro, I don't know. Okay,
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't actually make any sense.
Well,
like, it could have just been like, "Yo, if you want me gone, win the trophy, and I'll dip." And then they would have been like, "Oh, it's lit." Like, we didn't need them getting jumped first.
Well, so now they're all working together, and they're like, "We are going to win this trophy." And, you know, this is like, we've seen this trope in a number of movies, particularly in the 90s, where it's like, you have like the down on their luck.
Bunch of dummies.
Yeah, it's like Mighty Ducks and like Little Giants.
The Big
and like,
Green, Little Giants.
We've seen this number of times again. It's like, oh, you know, they're losers. They can't win anything, but they all bound together. They have teamwork. They have perseverance. And then they end up coming together in order to win the game. And so they're planning to go to this game. And at this point, Major Payne gets another phone call from the general who says... An
actual phone call this time.
Well, General Decker, who says, "Hey, we can get you, there's an operation going on in Bosnia, and like we could use your skills, but you got to leave out tomorrow morning."
We could use your skills.
You got to leave out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But tomorrow's a military game. So he's like, "A game? You talking about a game?"
Talking about games, boy.
He's talking about practice.
We need you out there and support the troops in Bosnia.
He's like, "Yes, sir, I'll be
Need you to go kill some folks."
So he decides, I'm gonna go, because this is all he's wanted, right? He wants to kill people. This is his life's mission.
This is what made him eat a rat.
So he tells the boys, like, "I'm about to be out, deuces." And Stone's like, "What do you mean? What about family? What about working together?"
What all that crap that you were selling us earlier?
Like, we're working hard for you. Now it's for him. It's not for the trophy anymore, by the way. It's for him. And like, now you're leaving. Like, what's gonna happen? He's like, "Yo, like, y'all can figure it out. Like, leadership changes is part of the, you know, y'all can do it." So he bounces. And that's when he goes to the train station, as you mentioned. It has that weird dream about being married to the counselor, apparently adopting Tiger, and then the enemy comes in. So while they're doing that, the kids are kind of like, they're feeling defeated because it's like, yo, he left us. What are we going to do? But Stone is the one who rallies them all together and says, "Come on, guys, we can win this. Let's just suit up and get this done." So we see them.
And to me, this is the non-starter for me, because it's like, yo, y'all did mad work up to this point. And the games are this weekend?
Yeah.
If you don't
it's
go.
Like tomorrow, like, bro, we're going.
If you don't go, then that means you did all that work and practice for absolutely nothing. So it's like, yo, y'all have to go now. I don't care if y'all got Major Payne or not. Like, y'all got to do it, because otherwise you wasted your time.
Absolutely. So you go to the games, and we see the other schools, and the other schools seem to be like, I mean, tip-top shape. The suits are pressed. They're like, the precision is there. So I'm watching this movie, and again, I'm like, I already know how this is going to end.
Yes.
They're going to win the trophy.
They have to.
But in reality...
I bet you didn't guess how they were going to win the trophy, though.
Oh, dear Lord. But in reality, I didn't think that they would ever win. So they go to the games, and like the first leg we see is like a relay race where you have to do different activities. You got to go through the obstacle course. You got to do push-ups. And the last leg is a run. And so remember, Cadet Dodson, who used to be the leader of the troop, transferred schools. And so for the last leg, we have Dodson is running against our man Stone. And Stone is catching up to him, and Stone's about to take him. And Dodson sees it, and he's like, nah, and like trips him. And he falls, he gets injured, he gets second place. But they're still in the running because the first and second place school ends up doing like the final heat at the end. And so
Dodson is bad trash.
He was trash, but you know, you need those kind of characters.
And speaking of trash, after Dodson trips Stone, they're like, yo, what the hell? Like, yo, you just basically tripped our guy. Like, we were about to win. And both schools basically get into a big brawl. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the school that we're following, which I don't even remember the name of their school, but, you know, they are the ones that basically get in all the trouble. Mm-hmm. Now, nobody says this, but it's pretty clear that they're the only school there that has a couple of black kids.
Yes.
And the major for the other school is basically appealing to the board that they should be kicked out. He calls them pathetic animals. Mm-hmm. Their own commander didn't even show up. These guys are a they're so pathetic. And I'm like, this entire accusation feels super racist to me.
Once I hear animals and I see black people, I'm already offended.
And it's like, yo, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, the whole like military games, a bunch of white guys, they're in Virginia. Like, it just felt like we don't want these black kids here.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
And then, of course, that's when Mr. Payne, Major Payne, makes a triumphant return. They're still kind of pissed at him because he bailed on them. And he's like, I didn't come to lead you guys. I came to watch you win.
Yeah. But because of the trip, our boy Stone is injured. So he can't lead the troops in whatever the heck it's called. I'm not even sure.
Dressing, I think it's called,
Dressing?
or something.
Oh. Yeah. So basically they're going to like march. They're going to like, they like spin their guns around and like
they
got to
do the whole thing.
And he can't do it because his ankle is hurt. So they're like, what are we going to do? We can't do it. But he's like, so Major Payne's like, well, Tiger could do it. Tiger? But he's a kid. But it's like, yeah, but Tiger knows, the whole thing more than anyone out here because Tiger has been to every single practice. And earlier on in the film, Tiger says to Major Payne that he feels like he's always left out of things because everyone says he's too little. Mm-hmm. And he feels like, and that's when he tells him that whole little engine that could story that gets completely derailed. And so at this point, he says to him, like, remember the little engine that could, like, you can do it, like, toot, toot. And he's like, toot, toot.
Yeah.
And he's so cute. It's like, you can't help.
Now, Orlando's amazing.
You can't help but smile. And so they all go out into the field. They're getting ready to do their march. And Tiger's leading them. So the other schools start laughing because they're like, look at that little kid.
Yeah.
Why is he there? Which, again, why is he there? Because
we don't really
that makes no sense. Apparently, they say he was adopted by the school, which, again, I don't know what that means.
But he still wouldn't be in ROTC.
No, he wouldn't.
He would just be in first grade.
But the whole thing is just weird because, like, can a school adopt a person?
Apparently.
So anyway.
There's different rules in Virginia. I don't know.
So he starts leading the march, and they come out here with some sister act, like, hip-hop beat. Like, nothing about this is ROTC, okay?
I also don't know where the turntable scratching came from because there was not a turntable in sight. But it was like
they had an audio cassette.
Yeah,
they hit play and it had speakers.
They had a boombox. Yeah.
And so they start doing like this like march, but like they're kicking their knee up, and it's all very theatrical and coordinated, but it's also cool and hip. And I'm
not gonna hold you. That joint was fire, yo. I actually really like that. I like that scene, man. That joint was tough.
And so you have like the judges who are like all these like commanders, and they're tapping
their feet. They're trying to be low about it, but it's like this joint kind of hit. Like they couldn't hold it back. They're like, nah, these little black kids is out here turning up.
They were the only black kids.
They were the only black kids.
They were.
But they were turning up. And the one deaf student is actually the nicest at like spinning the gun.
The guns, yeah.
So he's doing like mad tricks, flipping it behind his back. He throws it up in the air, catches it, da-da-da. And then my man Tiger is just there just like dancing like, He starts doing a Michael Jackson dance at one point. Nah, that was amazing. That was hands down the best part of the whole movie. Like that hip hop march was amazing, bro.
I feel like I laughed more at that than the rest of the movie.
Nah, it was the best part. It was like I was legitimately entertained, and I feel like the Orlando Brown of it all just added to it. Not Bloom.
Okay.
Nah, he wasn't black enough. Orlando Bloom.
He wasn't black enough for me.
Orlando Bloom doing this hip hop march. Nah, that would have been a scene.
So they go through the whole thing, and we know at the end who wins the trophy. They do, of course.
They had to win the trophy. That joint was legit fire.
They do, of course. They win, and it's like, oh, it's unconventional, but the crowd was going with it. They were clapping. Listen, they were cheering.
The response speaks for itself.
They were having the time of their lives, and they win.
In real life, racism, they would have been like, absolutely not.
But also, I feel like there are certain rules. Like, I don't know if you can just bring like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that you can just bring like a hip hop record and march to it. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know that you can't.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know that you can't. I've
Listeners,
never been to the Virginia.
if you've been in the ROTC,
if you've been to the Virginia military games, report back.
Only the Virginia one.
Yeah, only the Virginia one. I don't know what they do in other states.
Atlanta might be a little different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they win, and then the movie kind of fast forwards to like the next year. 6 months later, they say it's a new class. And of course, Stone is still ahead of the troop. Tiger's there, but like Tiger's like second in command because your man, although he's 7 now,
he skipped ahead of all the other kids in middle and high school. And he's now leading them as a second grader.
Yeah, he knows all of, all the calls and all the marches, and he's up there. But what really was strange about this is, so I get the idea of like inclusion and all that, but to have someone who's deaf, first of all, I don't think they would qualify to be an ROTC just based on what the regulations are for the physical requirements. By the time the movie ends, they have a guy in there who's blind, has a seeing eye dog, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure
both of whom get shaved by Major Payne.
Well, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't qualify for ROTC.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not touching that one.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't, because again, if you can't see, like, if you're in the military, you got to pass like an actual physical test. Like, I'm not trying to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seemed like,
yeah,
I get what they're trying to do here, but like, also like, this is not.
What are they trying to do? Because I don't actually.
They were trying to be inclusive and be like, oh, like they had someone who was deaf, they have someone who can't see, and they're still able to be in this ROTC and find a place for
they're
them.
all equally able to be insulted by Major Payne.
Yes.
All right, I guess that is inclusion.
Equal opportunity.
Yeah, insults.
Verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse. There you go.
So there's that. Oh, good Lord. All right.
I mean, we talked earlier about the idea of like Major Payne lacking empathy. And I think we also talked about like how 90s films and people who were maybe like making this movie, which were primarily boomers and probably a few Gen Xers, like they're not thinking about the things that we're thinking about now. Mm-hmm. And I think even when we think about the 90s in general, which we both grew up at that time, I think mainstream culture also just lacked empathy, right? Like,
oh yeah.
If you had someone with a disability, if you had someone who was overweight, if you had someone who had PTSD, if you had someone who had depression, then it was just like, oh, like you're screwed up and it's your problem.
Right.
It was never like, yo, let's get to the root cause of what caused this and try to give them help. It was just like, oh, why are you so fat? Oh, why are you so screwed up? So I think culture at that time lacked empathy, so we can't really expect the movies to have any.
No. And that's why I said I was watching it trying to be like, okay, this was in 95, a different time. And like I said, like I think like there were some things like the violence as far as like the grenade and stuff, I can see that, and the gun in the air. I can see that as being somewhat funny. I just didn't like the verbal abuse of the boys. Like that to me was just, even like back watching it then, I feel like fat jokes were just very lazy.
Oh, yeah. So are fart jokes.
Well, yeah, I didn't see it as like, I'm offended that they're abusing this person who's overweight. Back then, I just saw it as like, it's not really that funny. It's like, oh, you're fat. It's like, okay. Like, I never really got
it. They're jokes for 14-year-old boys.
Yeah, I just never really got it. But I will. So there's a couple of things that Major Payne says in this film, a couple of quotes that are pretty crazy. So the first one,
crazy good or crazy bad?
Well, I'll let you be the judge of that.
Okay.
So the first one I wrote down was early on in the film when we see him. He's in the commander's compound in South America. He shimmies down this rope and he puts a gun to the commander's head. He's surrounded by the enemy,
right?
But they don't shoot him, of course, because he has the commander, the gun to his head. And he's like, the commander says to him, like, you're not gonna get out of here alive. Like, they're gonna kill you. He's like, maybe they'll get me, and he puts a gun right up against the guy's butthole. He says, but I can clean your colon out quicker than one of them bean burritos with extra guacamole sauce. And I was like,
he's like, oh. And then just like that, he's able to arrest the entire
He marches the
compound.
entire compound.
Because God
out.
forbid he shoots the commander in his anus.
butt.
So then they're all just like, all right, you win. And they all just put down their guns, apparently.
Yeah. So that was like, oh, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a choice.
So that was
So
weird.
you thought that was hilarious.
No. I thought it was, from that moment, I said, I hate the way that he speaks. Like, the guacamole, like.
That wasn't it for you?
I didn't like the guacamole.
That didn't get you a belly laugh?
It didn't. I wrote it down because I was like, I don't like that.
No belly laugh?
No. Then he was talking about after he shaves the boy's hair, the counselor says to him, why'd you shave the boy's head? And he said, they have to earn their due, their hair due. I was like, oh, wrote that down. I wrote that down.
You were writing down a lot more than I did.
Because it was just like, this is so much, like, it's so much that I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I ignored. I kept it moving.
No, I had to write down. Then he's talking about how he believes that the counselor has been babying Tiger. And he says to her, you need to pop your titty out his mouth and stop babying him.
Oh, I forgot about the pop your titty
Oh,
out.
I couldn't forget.
How could I forget that part?
I was like, what?
Yeah, that was a very
world?
yeah. She fell in love with him after that.
That's what I'm saying. This man says this to you, and you somehow find him attractive. Like what? And then the last one I wrote down was when he first meets the boys, and he's talking about how he's in control now. He's the major, and he says, "You will not eat, sleep, drink, blow your nose, or even dig in your butts without my say so."
No, that is probably that's something that you would have heard in like Full Metal Jacket or something like that.
Yeah. So
I mean, there were a couple of the quotes that he said that I did actually laugh at. Because there's the part where he's with Tiger and he's complaining about like how nobody takes him serious because he's too small. And he's like, nah, there's plenty of examples of, people who are small that end up, being heroes. You had like Little Red Riding Hood. Mm-hmm. You had the Three Little Pigs. You got Spike Lee.
Oh, yeah, he did say Spike Lee. That was good.
You got the Little Rascals. But it's the way they just stuck him in there with all these fictional characters. That joint was mad funny. And there was also the part where he decides he's leaving for Bosnia, and Stone says, "Hey, you said we were a family." And he said, "Yeah, well, I never said families don't break up. Don't you watch Oprah?" that joke was funny, too.
Oprah was huge.
Don't you watch Oprah?
Oprah was huge, boy.
What was the theme of this movie?
I think we've kind of touched on a lot of them already. Okay. But in relation to the boys, I think teamwork was a big one. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I feel like that stood out to me was this is it's kind of very small in terms of the whole movie, but it stood out was they had like a day where it's like Parents' Day, where the parents came to the campus to see the kids. And I noticed that the kids in the ROTC, like, they didn't have any parents come visit them. We know Tiger's parents died in a car accident when he was like a baby or a toddler. So he was in an orphanage for a while before the school adopted him somehow. Then you have Stone, whose dad comes to the school, but he's an alcoholic and like might be abusive. Like,
not might be. He smacks him, and then he raises his hand to smack him a second time.
And Payne comes in.
And Payne intervenes.
That's right. So,
but there's a part where they're having Parent Day and the boys are talking, and they're like, "Oh, like, is anybody coming for you?" And he's like, "No, like, why would he laughs like they're laughing about the fact that like why would anybody come for Parent Day?"
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the kids said, "My parents said they would come, but they have allergies." I was like, "Oh my God," because it's like, bro, that's not a reason.
No.
So
yeah,
that stood out to me as like these are already misfits that don't really have anybody who really care about them. The parents probably just threw them in boarding school to be like, get away from me.
And that's probably how that specific group of kids ends up in ROTC in the first place. Exactly. Maybe it was like it wasn't something that they signed up for. It was something that they were ordered to be in. Because the rest of the kids who go to the school aren't in ROTC and their parents showed up.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So for me, it was like you don't really have any other support. And so the teamwork within the group for the ROTC is kind of like what the kids are able to lean on, and they rely on each other. And so I could see how Payne leaving would upset them, because it's like, bro, like we're doing all of this under your guidance, and now you're leaving us.
For sure.
So teamwork, I think, and also self-confidence, because for Tiger, the whole movie, he kept saying he's too little to do things. And then by the end, of course, he's able to be one of the leaders. He actually leads them into victory. And so that was, good for his character.
I think for Payne, there's also a theme around letting people in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was this killing machine and he kind of didn't have any significant relationships, romantic or otherwise. And once he was able to kind of allow himself to be sensitive and build relationships with these boys, build relationships with the counselor, he found a home. Instead of like moving on, he's like, oh, like I'm actually just gonna stay here. I don't need to be out in the field committing murder to feel fulfilled. Like I can actually, and it's like I feel like he found a purpose and he found something to bring him joy, but that's only because he allowed himself to like build relationships.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he turned down going to Bosnia to body people is crazy. Because you would think like, I'm jumping at the chance to do that.
It represents a whole change for his character.
But I think another theme here that they probably didn't want us to find, but I'm finding it anyway. PTSD is a real condition and treatment is necessary.
You know what's so funny that you bring that up is I thought that was going to be a talking point specifically because he starts dating a counselor. And I'm waiting for her to bring up like the concept of therapy and then she just kisses him instead.
It's the 90s, bro.
Yeah.
Therapy's not cool yet.
No, it's not.
So, all right, some facts?
Yes.
So, in a TikTok, Stephen Martini is the character, the guy who plays Cadet Stone, the guy who was too cool for the ROTC initially. So, in his TikTok, he said that they actually did shave their heads. It wasn't like a
ball cap. Yeah.
He said shaving his head the first day felt freeing, but then having to shave every day for 100 days was a lot because you have to make sure like you have no facial hair, you have no like clean cut every day. So he was like, it ended up being quite a bit. The movie overall was based loosely on a 1955 comedy called The War of Major Benson, which is about a hard-boiled military man who was softened when forced to teach a bunch of kids at a military school. That movie from 55 was nominated for an Academy Award, which this movie cannot say that it was. So a little.
But Major Payne's first name was Benson, so that's probably a shout to the 55 film.
Another shout out: the line when Major Benson says to the kids, "What we have here is a failure to communicate." This is a famous quote from the 1967 movie Cool Hand Luke. And then
the Paul Newman film.
It is. And then lastly, when Major Payne encounters the blind cadet, he mockingly refers to him as Ace Ventura. This was, of course, the breakout film role for Jim Carrey, who co-starred with Damon Wayans on In Living Color. So it was a shout to him. But yeah, there weren't a lot of facts on this one. So that's all I got for y'all.
All right. I think it's time for our rewind rating. I'll probably go first here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, we kind of had this running theme throughout the course of this podcast of like, how do movies age? Do they age well? I think this is like a prototypical movie that ages poorly.
Yeah.
Like in almost every sense of the film. Like, it's just like, wow, like this is shocking how poorly this film has aged. I feel like the only thing that's keeping me from giving this film a 1 is probably just the end scene with the hip hop dance, which I actually legitimately enjoyed. And also Orlando Bloom, who...
Or Brown? Yeah, gotcha.
You did it. You did it. You did it.
In my head, I was like, is he going to say Bloom or Brown?
This is so your fault. You planted Orlando Bloom in my head. This is Inception. Jeez. Orlando Brown is probably a crazy person now. If you've seen him on social media or any videos of him in the past 5 or 10 years, he's like completely off the chain, which is probably somehow connected to
being
him
a child star.
Being a child star.
Yeah.
But at this time in 1995, which is, 29 years ago, He's adorable. And so I think him and just what he brings to this film also give it a little bit more, but not that much. I think this is going to get a 2.
Okay. I think I'm just going to say ditto and leave it at that. Because honestly, like, yeah, a lot of this I just kept being like cringe, gross, fart joke, disgusting, not funny. Like, yeah, it's not something I'm watching again probably ever. So
honestly, the 2 is like, the 2 felt generous because I almost went lower, but I'm like, I'll give it a 2 just off the Orlando Brown. I'll give it a 2 just off the hip hop dance.
He was so cute. Like, he was so cute.
And yeah, the kids do a good job. It's just like the humor is it just doesn't hit the spot based on where we are right now. But if you feel differently, if you agree, if you disagree, please feel free to let us know. Shout us out in the comments. Give us your thoughts in DMs. We can be reached on all the social media sites at Rewatch Rewind Podcast. And you can also shoot us an email at rewatch1990s@gmail.com. And that's also a great place to send us any additional 90s movie suggestions.
Keep them coming.
Any final thoughts on Major Payne?
No. I was trying to think of something, but it's like, no.
I have no more thoughts.
Nothing.
All right. Fair enough.
Later.
Adios.